largest inhabitants of our country. They comprise of more than 700 communities which are spread across India and constitute 8.6% of India's population. However, the reality of this community is quite concerning. In the pre-colonial period, the Adivasis governed themselves outside the influence of a particular ruler. Later, during the colonial period, the British started encroaching their lands. As a consequence, there were Adivasi revolts in several parts of the country which forced the administration to restore their land. This maintained the independent existence of Adivasis. Yet, after 74 years of independence, they face a number of challenges. They struggle for survival, their identity, poverty, illiteracy, to name a few. Over the past several years, the government's expenditure for improving the lives of scheduled tribes is going unspent. These unspent expenditure are supposed to be used for midday meals, health, social security, agriculture, fertilizers, etc. Even on the land they own, they face incessant displacement and relocation, often with the use of force and violence. According to the data, the proportion of rural Adivasi households that do not own land increased from 16% in 1987 to 24% in 2011. In 2006, the government amended the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act by recognizing the customary rights of forest dwellers, which consists of right over common areas and right to manage and sell forest produce. However, the implementation of this act resulted in a complete failure due to inadequate community awareness, conflicting legislations, lack of dedicated structural implementation, administrative roadblock, and government deficit. In addition, the Supreme Court of India sanctioned industrialization and mining in forest areas. Since these forest areas are homeland of Adivasis, this ruling of Supreme Court violated the constitutional safeguards given to Adivasis. Although Adivasis account for mere 8.6% of population, most of them fall below poverty line. Tribal groups are more vulnerable to disease and malnutrition than the rest of the population. The latest report of UNICEF reveals that around 4.7 million tribal children suffer from chronic nutrition deprivation. Furthermore, about 40% of tribal children under 5 years of age are stunted, whereas 16% of them are severely stunted. Adivasi areas have been identified as high-risk regions with respect to food and nutrition security. Many reasons have been identified for increasing food insecurity, which includes loss of traditional food sources in the forest, decreasing size of land holdings, shift from self-sufficient agriculture to chemical-intensive agriculture, and increasing land alienation. Educational status of Adivasis is quite alarming. According to the census data, 50% of children drop out from school while transitioning from primary to secondary grades. Nearly 80% of children cease their education when they are in grade 10. Apart from this, children studying in residential schools struggle to bridge two totally different disconnected worlds together. The Adivasis continue to live on fringes of society and development. Their Human Development Index is 30% lower than the National Human Development Index. Areas inhabited by the Adivasis in the states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and Northeast are regions of intense violent conflict. In these areas, the Adivasis commonly report cases of killings, illegal detentions, abductions, torture, sexual assault by the security forces. Now, the question arises, what can be done to improve the lives of Adivasis? Some of them can be as follows. Firstly, strict laws should be implemented for abolishing the transfer or sale of tribal land to non-tribal people. Development should not take place at the cost of tribal alienation. Secondly, government and NGOs should join hands to ensure availability of adequate medical and sanitary facilities to improve health and nutrition in tribal areas. Lastly, schools should be set up in the vicinity of tribal settlements. The curriculum that is targeted should be taught in tribal language.